Hey there, y'all, and welcome to the kitchen. Today we are going to do another dish that is really focused on using the wonderful meal prep things that we do ahead of time to make yummy shortcut suppers. Now here's what I want to tell you. I love to meal prep. I prep ahead stuff all the time, and that makes putting a delicious dinner on the table easier every single night of the week. But another thing I've heard a lot of mamas say, and I agree with this as well, I like to keep my dishes simple. So if you can show me how to use my meal prepped items to get delicious dinner on the table and keep that in a lot less cleanup, like a one pan or one sheet tray dish, that's what we need. So that's what this is. This is delicious buffalo chicken pasta. I'm going to be using some shortcut tricks that I have perfected over the year, as well as some delicious items from the grocery store that I've found. See, something I also teach is no matter your skill level or budget level, there is a way that you can get dinner on the table. There are shortcut tricks, there are meal prep tricks, there are things that you can do that you can buy in the freezer section or either sometimes in the produce section that things have been prepped ahead for you that really do make it easier than ever before to eat delicious, healthier food and do it in no time at all. So let's get started on this dish so I can show you just how easy and quick it is. So basically this weekend, ahead of all of this, I prepped some chicken. I found some chicken on sale, so I bought 4 whole chickens. You don't have to go that extreme. And if you don't want to deal with bone-in chicken, you could easily find chicken breasts on sale and just do 2 packs of chicken breasts. I would just make sure each pack of chicken breast, I would pair it with a thigh to balance that out. You can also get boneless, skinless thighs and balance that out and kind of manage that dryness. Also helps you with budget, but do a pack of each and then you've got a lot of chicken on hand shredded all week long. So I did that and I have about 8 to 10 cups of shredded chicken that I'm going to have all week long, and I have 1.5 gallons of chicken stock that I can use as well. If I'm not using it all, it can go in the freezer. It's wonderful. But I've got about 3 cups of that shredded chicken right here. I've got some pre-cooked pasta. We're learning now that if you pre-cook and refrigerate your pasta, it helps the glutens interact better with your tummy. So I've got a pound of pre-cooked pasta. That's a good tip. Then I've got some minced garlic, some pre-chopped onions. I went ahead and did about 3 onions here, 3 medium onions. I'm not going to use all this. I'll use a cup of it and keep it for other meals. And because this is buffalo chicken, I had to chop some celery. I had to give a little veggie and some ode to the freshness that you get with that ranch dip, which, speaking of ranch, we're going to put flavoring into our chicken pasta that tastes like that ranch dip. Some butter because it's buffalo chicken, and obviously we've got to use the real deal hot sauce, Louisiana style, and then some cheddar cheese to top it all off. And if I missed anything, I'll tell you about it. But the secret ingredient is this. I found something new in the grocery section, and this is spicy buffalo style cream of chicken soup. And I was like, I have to try that. I have to do a recipe with it. And let me tell you, I did. I went back for another one because you're not going to want to miss this item. It's one I like to have on hand for a good gathering, any football party, or even a busy night, which you want to go ahead and put your dinner in the oven before you head out to the pool for an hour before everybody settles in. That's another good tip. So my oven is preheated to 400 degrees. And I'm going to start this on the stovetop, and my pan is one that can go from stovetop to oven. So like I said, we're trying to do one pan here, and this is a one pan plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building this in my pan, and then once it's all started, we're going to go into the oven. So first things first, I'm going to get a little bit of cooking spray into my pan, and I'm simply going to start my onions, and my heat's going to be on about medium-high heat. Now my onions are going to cook longer in the oven, but we do want to go ahead and start them and the celery softening slightly, and literally that's the only thing that has to be cooked prior to this going into the oven. So we're going to put in a cup of onions, and then I'm going to save the rest of my onions for later. I'm going to grab my celery right here because it's going to need to cook just a little bit. The only reason I'm doing this is because this does take a very limited time in the oven. So there's not a lot of time for these vegetables to cook through. And I want them to be tender and not too hard to chew because this is kind of like a creamy and comforting pasta. All right, so 2 stalks of celery is what went in, 1 cup of onions. If your celery stalks are really, really big, you may only want to do 1, but that is just totally up to you, your quantity you want. I've got about 1 cup of onions and 1/2 cup of celery. And I'm just going to season it with a little teaspoon of salt. and about 10 cracks of black pepper. And the reason I do this here is because we like to season in layers. If you've got layers of flavor going on here, you're going to want to go ahead and take the time to do that each section that you can as this builds, because like I said, one pan, this is going in the oven and coming out, you're only going to get that chance to flavor it while you're building. So we want to take every chance all along, so when we get to the finish line, it's got the right flavor. So once that comes up to a simmer and gets a little soft, and turn it up just a little bit, I'm going to add in my chicken and my pasta and my soup. But first things first, with this, I'm going to get in a stick of butter. And it's okay, this is going to feed a lot of people. 8 tablespoons of butter. Trust me on this one. And that's just going to go ahead and start to melt down while our veggies are getting tender and save us on time, because we don't need to wait on that. And then we have minced garlic here. Now, I've been asked both ways, minced garlic or whole bulbs of garlic that you break down. And there's a long and a short to it. I buy both, and the reason I buy both is because whole bulbs of garlic go well in things like chicken stock. I roast them whole in the oven and squeeze them into mashed potatoes and that kind of thing. But if I'm cooking a dish like this saves me a significant amount of time. So I always have both on hand. But at the end of the day, if I had to choose just one, this is what I would choose for this season of my life anyway, with 4 kids and a pretty busy schedule. So I went in with 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Woo! Man down. Come back here, friend. At least it was just the lid. Now I can hear that starting to sizzle. The salt is also going to help the moisture come out of my vegetables, and it's going to get a little bit of weeping going on, which means that is where it cries a little bit of its water out, and that is what starts the tenderization process, and it actually will help all of this start to kind of marry together and these flavors start to get happy. Okay, so that's all melting. We're going to give that just a second to get tender, and when we come back, we're going to add in the rest of our ingredients. See you in a second. Okay, y'all, we're back, and our veggies are really good and tender. Our butter is totally melted, so I'm going to get my chicken in just a second. But first thing I want to do is get my ranch seasoning in here and my hot sauce so my flavors are melted together. Then I'm going to grate some cheese, but that'll be for the very end. Kind of trying to time manage here really well. So my seasoning is going to go in, and it's going to just be the seasoning that holds the savoriness throughout this whole dish. That butter in there is going to really help coat all the pasta. This is so luxurious. So that's a package of ranch seasoning, and I'm going to put in 1/4 cup of hot sauce. I'm going to eyeball it because I know about what 1/4 cup looks like. We don't want this to be so hot that the kids really just don't want to participate at all, but we do want there to be a little kick of flavor. Okay, opening up my soup. And then there's going to be a couple other ingredients in here that add to this flavor. This is going to be a really creamy, like I said, delicious, rich pasta. But we also need to balance out that heat a little bit. And one way to do that, I've got a little bit of mayo. Now, I'm going to put in about 1/2 cup of mayo. If you wanted to, you could also use 4 ounces of cream cheese here. That would work really well. But this just adds that creamy factor. Like I think of how I make ranch dressing, and I make it with mayo and buttermilk. So there's that. I'm going to put in my chicken. And this is just going to start marrying together so quickly. I'm going to put in my soup. And like I said, my oven's already at 400 degrees, so this isn't really taking no time at all. Really, the longest part of the assembly is putting those onions and the celery in there and letting them cook for a minute. So we're going to stir that all up. Get everybody so coated in all of that yummy goodness. It literally smells like ween night in here. Okay, and then we're going to get in our pasta. Now this is a shortcut pasta called cavatappi, but you can use any kind that you want to. Any penne, bow ties. My girls love rotini. Curly noodles is what they call those. Little spirals. They love those. It's just whoever is there choosing that night, and whatever's in the pantry is what helps me make the choice. Okay, so I'm going to get this started to get stirred up. I turned my heat down to low, but it is not off. I'm going to let that hang out and just start getting melded together a little bit while I grate my cheese. Smelling so good. Now your chicken to pasta ratio is going to be pretty close to half and half, but you do want a slightly bigger amount of pasta to carry that chicken further, because the more we can stretch our protein, the better. I love having my protein mixed into a meal like this, especially when you're feeding a huge crew. Like we have 4 kids, and half of those are very big teenage boys. Well, actually, they're adults. I keep saying teenage, but give me a few months and I won't even have a teenager at all. And then in 10 years, we will have one again. Pray for us now. Not even that. She'll be 6 this year, so before you know it, we'll be doing it with girls, and Lord knows, we'll need all the prayer we can get. Okay, so I'm going to do about half of this 8-ounce block of sharp cheddar for the top of this. All right, and that's just about a cup of sharp cheddar cheese. Now, I'm going to stir this around one more time. Oh, it's a huge pan, and it's going to be so satisfying. But let me tell you, the creaminess factor in this pasta is to die for. Oh, good Lordy. Okay. Stirring it up. Okay. I'm going to put the cheese on in just a second, but I'm going to show you what it looks like first. Let me show you what it's going to look like underneath that blanket of cheese. It almost looks like macaroni and cheese, but it'll fool you because it is actually going to be spicy. I may not tell anybody. Is that the right thing to do? Maybe not. Okay, so let me show you what it's going to look like. I'll move this over so you can see. Get this up here. Get it off the heat and get a little more stirring going on. It's really important just to get it all mixed in, because you want that pasta to be totally coated. And this is where you get your workout. I mean, do I need to go to the gym today after this? And the fact that I have 2 little ones to keep up with that wouldn't need me to go to the gym whether I did this or not. Okay, now cheese on. And I want to teach you something here. Anytime I top something with cheese, that's an opportunity. I almost feel like it's an invitation to treat that cheese like it's the top layer of a garlic bread. So I just take my opportunity to season my layer of cheese. I do that on my pizza, I do it on my lasagna, my baked spaghetti, any kind of baked, anything that gets cheese on the top. There's no reason not to season that. So what I actually have is I keep a blend on my counter, and it doesn't have a lid on it, and that's on purpose because I don't like to shake it. I like to sprinkle it. So I just pour it in my hand, and it's a blend of 2 tablespoons of salt to a tablespoon of garlic powder and a tablespoon of onion powder. So I just put that over the top ever so slightly, and then after it comes out of the oven, we're going to sprinkle it with a little parsley to wake it up. Give it a little color, and just let everybody know that the top has gotten some loving care too. Okay, so this is going to go in the oven, and this will only take about 10 to 15 minutes on 400 degrees to get bubbly through and through, that cheese to get melty on top and slightly browned, and we will be ready to try it. See you in a few. Okay, y'all, we're back, and let's see how our dish comes out. I am smelling this, and it smells divine. Oh my goodness. This is a huge pan of pasta, and it looks amazing. Look at that. Okay, we're going to top it with some parsley, like I said. And then I'm going to do my best to try this without burning my mouth off, but it might need to sit. My recommendation is letting it sit for a little while. Let me grab a quick little fork, and I'll try to blow me a bite. I'm serious. This is the perfect dish if you've got a family full of kids, teenagers, a youth group, even just like any kind of busy weeknight or a party that you're taking something to. Delicious. That's a bigger bite. that normally I would take with somebody watching me, but I'm excited about this. So I'm going to blow it and give it a go. But definitely going to give it a little cool off first. Okay, here goes nothing. Oh my gosh, y'all. That will be on their request list after you've done it once, forever to come. Make this one this week, y'all. You'll love it. As always, happy cooking, y'all. I'll see you next time. I mean, is it frowned upon if I just eat it out of the pan? It might be my new favorite.